I was going to start this video by talking about the re-emergence of spring. But as I was editing, it began to snow. I have come to appreciate plans not working out and the unpredictable happening when things don't turn out the way that you hoped. Things that are wild, peculiar, and unfamiliar are born from this place, also prompting you to reflect and rest. Before the snow, we took ourselves to the city, where it is always much harder to find the small and wild things. Even though cats have been domesticated, whenever I see one, I am instantly reminded of what is wild and free and completely independent, because as we know, cats think for themselves. Sometimes it's a cat, and oftentimes it is something as common as a bird. And I look to these things to find my own stories, where I can relate to my immediate environment and the natural world, so I know that the things I go through and the things that I feel have been lived before. They have existed outside of myself. The story I want to share with you today is on a time in my life when I was in a relationship that was very confining, restricting, and didn't give me the space and room I needed to be who I needed to be. This vision of myself, who was deeply passionate, adventurous, daring, bold, and expressive, was confined in the way that I was, but instead limited to paper, to me spending late nights sat in front of a computer writing these incredible journeys that my bold female protagonist would take, this magical woman who would not shy away from love and who would bump into strangers and go wherever she wanted to go. I would watch Eat, Pro Love, one of my favourite movies of all time with Julia Roberts, and I looked at her and I said to myself, I want to be like you. I want to leave my relationship and go and see the world and do as I please, eat whatever food I want to eat, just be unattached in my existence, in my experience. And of course, I was very young at the time, so I couldn't understand that life is not that easy, and sometimes to get to that place, you have to go through the most unpleasant of experiences and people. Even Elizabeth Gilbert, who writes the book, and I absolutely adore the book, even more than the movie, to be honest. Her journey was not an easy one, and that was important for me to realise in later years. Girl that can fly is me, because in that time and during that relationship, I used to vividly visualize myself with wings, and I would sit on the porch in the summer looking at the sun and the birds and really imagine that high, that adrenaline, that feeling of being able to fly. In reality, I just wanted to be free. While I was painting this, I was remembering that I am free now. I am no longer in that situation or that relationship, and I have discovered my wings. Even if they are not perfect, they are still perfectly imperfect. They are like peacock feathers, a testament to my transformation, or maybe more like the phoenix who rose from the ashes. Writing this name that I have given myself feels like a gift, a liberation, the key that I needed in my life to remember who I am, who I'm going to become. Thank you for being here, and I hope you've enjoyed listening to a part of my story. There are many more stories to come, but this is me for today.